Dividing decimals is very similar to dividing whole numbers. We're going to use money to help us transition from whole numbers to decimals. Here we have 100 pennies. We're going to split it up so that each person gets 20 pennies. How many people are we going to be able to share with? Well, our 100 pennies is our dividend because that's how much we have. 20 pennies is our divisor because that's the size groups we're going to make. So as we go through and put our pennies together into groups of 20, we can see we're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. So 100 pennies divided into groups of 20 means we're going to be able to share pennies with 5 people. What if we rephrase the problem? There is $1. Each person gets 20 cents. Well, we know that $1 is equivalent to 100 pennies and 20 cents is equivalent to 20 pennies. So we know we're still going to come out with 5 groups. But let's look more closely at it. Here we have decimals. $1 is 1.00 and 20 cents is 0.20. How are we going to get back to that original problem? Well, let's start with our divisor. To get from 20 cents to 20 pennies, I need to multiply by 100. That will move my decimal 2 places to the right, and instead of 20 hundredths, I will have 20 pennies. I then do the same thing with my dividend. Since I multiplied my divisor by 100, I need to multiply my dividend by 100. Multiplying $1 by 100 will move my decimal 2 places to the right, and it's going to take me back to 100 pennies. So again, I'm solving 100 pennies divided by 20 pennies to come out to give me 5 groups. Let's use those same ideas to divide values that aren't money. Here we have 54 hundredths divided by 1 and 5 tenths. Well, let's start with our divisor. First thing I need to do is make 1 and 5 tenths into a whole number. So to do that, I'm going to move my decimal 1 place to the right. Now, whatever I do to the divisor, I also have to do to the dividend. So if I move this decimal 1 place to the right, I need to move the decimal in my dividend 1 place to the right also. Now I can move that decimal straight up into the quotient. Since I've got my decimal placed, I can divide like I do with whole numbers. 15 goes into 54 3 times. 3 times 15 is 45. When I subtract 54 and 45, that leaves me with 9. Now there's no values left to bring down. I've already started the decimal, so I can't do a fraction. But I can continue to add my placeholder zeros on the end of my decimal and bring that down. So now I can do 15 into 90. 15 goes into 90 exactly 6 times. So since 6 times 15 is 90, I can subtract, and that leaves me with nothing. Let's try another example. We have 624 divided by 6 hundredths. Again, we're going to start with our divisor. I need to move that decimal 2 places to the right to make that into a whole number. Well, when I go to do that on the dividend, there's no more values here to move it through. Well, we know that we can add as many placeholder zeros on the end as we need after the decimal. So when I do that, I can then move my decimal 2 places to the right, move it straight up to the quotient, and we can do 62,400 divided by 6. When we do that, 6 goes into 6 once, subtract 6, that leaves me with 0, bring down my 2. 6 doesn't go into 2, so I need to put a 0 up in my quotient. 0 times 6 is 0. That leaves me with 2, bring down my 4. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 6 times 4 is exactly 24. That leaves me with 0. Bring down my 0. Well, 6 goes into 0 0 times, so there's another 0 in the quotient, and then repeat that for the last 0, bring that one down. 6 goes into 0 0 times, and I'm left with nothing. So we come out with a quotient of 10,400.